Hello, welcome back to another episode of Muse After Hours. I'm Kyan Davis. I'm the owner of Muse Extension Lounge in Washington.
And I am Julia Ward, owner of Muse Extension Lounge in Arizona.
Yes, we're so happy that you're listening. We wanted to start off talking a little bit about what we did this weekend.
Yeah, it was the best weekend for me anyway. I felt like I was living my best life because I was working in Arizona at Muse and had like such a crazy day in the salon. Like we're busting at the seams there right now as far as like we need help and we don't have it, and Shane's busy and I'm busy, and it's a great problem to have, but it's a little bit of a growing pain. And my first client actually had flown in from Washington, and it was so fun to see her because it had been a minute. Like I hadn't seen her. I hadn't done her hair in I don't even know how long, but she loves to come to Arizona. So she came, and typically she's been seeing Vic in Washington.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's so great about our salons is our clients can go back and forth and know that they're going to get the same work regardless if they're in Washington or if they're in Arizona. So it felt like, and this is a client, actually, I've been doing her hair for over 15 years. So it just felt like
very nostalgic.
Yes, it was just such a warm feeling. And then like a couple hours later, the insanely talented, amazing, and dear friend of ours, Kara Mercer, walks through the door. And she also lives in Washington and also gets her hair done by Kyan in Washington. And we just love her so much. And we are going to talk a little bit about that collaboration that we did. But to see her bright, sunny, shiny face, give her the biggest hug ever. And then I knew like we're saving the best for last because the last person that was going to walk in the door was Kyan. And
it was me.
Oh my gosh. You guys have no idea. Like I talk to Kyan more than anybody in the whole world. And so it's so bizarre because I'm so connected with her, but I don't get to see her in person very often. It hadn't been since December.
Yeah. So it is weird because we talk. You're probably the same. Like I text you and talk to you more than anybody else. And so it's like, we're always in communication. So it's not like, it doesn't feel like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long, but really, then when you see each other in person, you're like, oh my gosh, I just haven't seen you. And so it's just so different, but like a weird mix of like missing you, but also talking to you all the time. But it was great.
Oh my gosh, seriously, it was like the best day for me to have like all these people who I know and love come into the salon, and like just like I hadn't been able to share the space yet either with Kara or with Laura, and so it was fun for them to see like, you know, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's like so similar but different. And if you see the two spaces, like it's supposed to be very cohesive and on brand, and it is, but there's like subtle differences. And anyway, it was wonderful, although it was a long day because poor Kyan, I was like, I texted her like a few days prior. I'm like, hey, I need my rows moved up, and I know you can get it done really fast.
Yeah. So as soon as I got there, well, she was finishing up a client, and then when you were done, then we stayed late, and it felt like our old hair days, staying into the salon until like 11 o'clock at night doing hair. So it was fun. But yeah, and I kind of the same thing. I texted Vic earlier in the week, and I didn't need my hair done, but I wanted it done and like refreshed. And so I asked her to come in like after a work day one day and do my hair. And I'm glad that she did do my hair because we'll talk about it, the course later, but I ended up being like our model for the photography course. And so I'm really glad that we did my hair too.
Same. And her hair was perfect. It was fire. Like the whole time I kept saying, it's not fair. Why is your hair so perfect? Because Kyan just has amazing hair naturally. Anyway, it's not fair.
We talk about it all the time. I feel like I have hair dysmorphia. I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair is so thin whenever I take out my extensions. But then Vic and Julia are always telling me to stop saying that because it's not true.
It's 100,000% not true. She has amazing hair, incredible hair. You have to use 3mm beads on her, which I will never be a candidate for, no matter what, ever. Never, ever. So, whatever. I don't want to hear it. Her hair is like almost the same length as her 22. So,
it didn't start that way, but I can't even. Yeah, it's pretty long. But I remember when I started, my hair was like probably closer up to here.
It was.
So yeah, it's grown a lot. It's almost the same length. So
yeah, and that just shows what a natural beaded rose can do for you, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I was saying the same thing when I was doing your hair too, because I haven't done your hair in a while either, but all of that hair loss that you had from COVID, like you had all those little like baby bangs everywhere. And even as I was washing your hair, I was like, oh my gosh, Julie's hair feels so full and like you're getting like your density back. And then like you don't have any of those like weird little like baby bangs anywhere.
Oh my gosh, seriously, it was
Yeah.
so bad. It was the worst hair loss ever, ever. So when I talk about it, I am not being dramatic. I have witnesses.
Yeah, it was really bad. I can corroborate that. It was bad.
It was
Yeah.
so bad. Like Cayenne was the one who had to remove my extensions when I was in the heat of my hair loss. And I don't think we knew how bad it was because when you're wearing hair extensions, you don't notice as much shedding. And when she took my hair, I could see her look down at the ground and her eyes were like huge.
I was like, how do I say this? Because it's such like a touchy subject because it is gut wrenching losing that much hair and going through hair loss. And so we always try to approach it in the most like comfortable, like gentle way as possible. But just knowing that it was on your head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because at that time you were still my boss, and I was like, oh my god, how am I going to tell Julia that like she's losing a lot of hair right now? So
Like
it
a
was
lot.
crazy.
Like, would
Yeah,
you say that was like the most amount you've ever seen shed out? Like, as far as
probably.
like
Yeah,
when removing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. See,
Well,
guys, I am not dramatic.
no, it's true. Oh, well, anyways,
I'm,
back to what we were talking about. That was a little
yes,
tangent, but
it, it sure was. Yeah. So okay, you guys, for the last 4 years. So I met this photographer. Her name is Kara Mercer. You need to follow her. Her handle is at underscore Kara Mercer. She is one of the most talented photographers I've ever met in my entire life. And her little sunshiny personality fell into my lap about 4 years ago when she applied to be a client. And it was like fast friends, instant friendship, like just that chemistry that is undeniable. And so we started to build this friendship. And then we started to talk about how there's like this photography component missing inside of the hair industry because this day and age, if you want to build any sort of luxury clientele, your Instagram feed has to be your portfolio. It has to be stunning. It has to be
yeah.
beautiful. It has to capture your gorgeous work. And so we were talking about how we were missing this component, and there were just like tiny little itty bitty courses, like here's some iPhone settings or
Yeah,
whatever
like
it may
some
be.
iPhone tips, like quick, like 5-minute videos, how to take pictures.
Yeah. But nothing that was like robust and comprehensive and really was able to meet an artist where they're at. So we have been talking about this course forever, and we've just been so busy with like opening Muse and then exchanging hands of Muse and like settling into our new roles. And it's just been a lot to try to focus on this. And finally, we made it a priority. We made it happen. And the three of us came together along with a videographer who's incredibly talented as well. And we like hammered this out in one day. It took us about 12 and a half hours to film.
Yeah, it was a long day, long day. But we had planned it all out. We filmed a lot because we really, it wasn't just one course that we filmed two courses at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense. It was amazing. Kara's brain is worth so much money. It's insane because of how smart she is. And obviously, Cayenne and my experience behind the chair as a luxury extension artist and, you know, us really up leveling our photos. So both of all three of our brains coming together was honestly pure magic, in my opinion.
It was, yeah, because Kara has helped us so much. Like you scroll back through our feed and you can see how much our photos have improved. And we've been so lucky to have her as a mentor for photography for us. And so we're just so excited to bring that to you guys as well, because it's so important, like Julia was saying, to be able to market your work now, especially with how many people are on Instagram and how many hairstylists are out there. And this is not just for exclusively extension artists. We at Muse do exclusively extensions, but this is really for any hairstylist, no matter what you're doing. If you do men's cuts, women's cuts, colors, like it really doesn't matter what you're doing. You still need to be able to showcase your work the best way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like so many artists have beautiful work. They just don't know how to capture it the way that it may come across in person. And we've definitely learned that over the years. And one thing that it's like statistically, the first 9 photos on your Instagram feed, that's your portfolio. That will like keep somebody on and continue to scroll and consume your content, or it will make them leave immediately.
It's true. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm always like, I urge you, like, take a peek at those first 9 photos. Like, would you choose you? Would you
Yeah,
pick you?
exactly. Yeah, look at your page from the perspective of a client. Like, think of who your dream client is and put yourself in their mindset and just go onto your page and think, like, what is the impression I'm giving off? Is this going to attract who I want? Or, like, what type of client is this going to attract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, the day went like honestly pretty smoothly. And the last like little bit I feel like took a little bit longer than we thought. And so we were there till like 9:30 and we were so tired. And I was sick. I don't know if you guys can tell, like I've definitely got a little something something going on. I don't sound like I normally do. And I started to get sick actually on Friday night and I felt so bad. I was like, you guys, if you get sick, I'm so sorry. My daughter had strep throat. She's on antibiotics. I'm pretty sure she gave it to me. So now I'm sick. I'm probably going to give it to all of you. I apologize.
We'll
Oh
see. I'm
my
still,
God.
fingers crossed, I am feeling fine, but
I
we'll
pray
see.
that that continues. Just like level up your vitamin intake.
Hmm.
But I was just like popping ibuprofen because I'm like, I will not let this get me down.
No.
But I lost my voice at the end. And so the last thing we filmed, we were filming
Oh, yeah.
editing. So we're filming editing. And after this, we'll kind of go over like the different parts of the courses. But editing is the last piece of the course. And I was like, I'll do face app because like I know that thing so well. I know exactly how to utilize it with still like making the client look like themselves, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, I'll step in on this. And I start talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound like a man. Like all of a sudden my voice just turned.
It just out of nowhere. I think it was because we were all filming and talking so much, and then you took a break while Kara was talking for a while, and then I think at that point your voice was just like done. So trying
Yeah.
to jump back into it, it was just like, nope.
Yeah. So in that portion of the course, if I sound like a man, I apologize. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. We're going to have to listen to it. I might have to like voice over it later because I sounded raw.
Maybe, yeah, we'll have to listen and see how it sounds. Yeah,
Oh
but
my
we were there
gosh.
so late. I'm pretty sure we were there a little later, like almost like probably 10 or something. It was late.
It was late.
Yeah.
And then I took these guys. Okay, so there is this stunning brand new hotel in Arizona that's called the Global Ambassador, and it is like the it place to go right now. Like all the who's who. Like if you are cool, you are at the Global.
Hmm.
And I've been talking about this place forever to Cayenne, and I'm like, when you come to Arizona, we have to check this out. And the people watching is legit. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was like what I was most excited about was the people watching because it's bougie. Like you roll up to the front valet and it's like one of those hotels where they park like the super, super fancy, expensive cars right out front so you can see. And then just like the outfits, just, I mean, the people watching is insane.
Yeah, it really is. It's fascinating. I know, like one of my clients, she has a custom rose gold Bentley, which is absolutely stunning. And she was telling me about how she went there and she's now mine, I just want to preface, she's not boastful at all. This was like meant to be really funny. But she's like, here I am thinking, because they'll take like the best cars and park them right out front. And like my car, I drive a BMW iX electric car, is absolutely beautiful. I love it
It
so much.
is.
My car there is like a Honda Civic. I kid you not. I'm
Yeah,
rolling
it's
up.
crazy.
I'm rolling up in a Honda Civic.
Hmm.
But so my client, she's like, I was feeling good. They parked my rose gold Bentley up front. I was like, ooh, okay. I've got one of the nicest cars. And she's like, and then after they park it, I look next to it and there was a $3 million Bugatti.
Hmm. Yeah, that's insane. So just like so much money there. It's bougie. This is a bougie place.
Yeah, but it's fascinating. It's so fun to watch. And of course, we cannot help ourselves. We cannot help ourselves when we see extensions and women who need our help. And there were many women who needed us.
Yes, there are many women who needed to go see Julia there. It's just, I mean, there's so many bad extensions out there and they're so easy to spot.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
I
sad.
mean, like a million miles away. And here's the thing is these women are elevated. They are beautiful. They are dressed head to toe. They have like the most gorgeous handbags and shoes and all the things. And it's like you're carrying like a $5,000 handbag, but your hair extensions look like they cost you $500. Like that
Yeah.
just doesn't equate. And it's not to like any fault of their own. And it's not any like shit talking or anything like that. It's just like, let me tell you, there is something better. And for all we know, they could have paid $5,000 for that hair. They're just
Yeah.
going to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, is totally ripping them off.
Yeah. And so to have this elevated look and this woman who's presenting herself so beautifully, just to have extensions that you can tell are extensions, which you never want, obviously, like it just brings everything down, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it's like if the color blend isn't right, like we were seeing people that had like short pieces on the top and their hair had so much dimension in it, and then all of a sudden these like bright blonde extensions, and I'm just like, oh girl, let me help you. And
Let's
then it
help.
was funny because Kara makes friends wherever she goes, and she made friends with the bartender, which helped us tremendously because we were able to
We
get our food
did.
much faster. Oh
Hmm.
my gosh, Kara, like I told you, she's a bright sunshiny person and
She
everybody
is
loves her.
sunshine. Yep.
And so anyway, she was like up at the bar, and there was a woman that was like, oh, I love your hair. And she's like, where do you go? And Kara's like, oh, I go to Muse Extension Lounge. And the woman's like, oh my gosh, I had a phone consultation with her. And Kara's like, well, she's sitting right
She's
there.
right there. Yeah, that was so funny. You never,
I
small world.
know. Small world. I'm like, girl,
Hmm.
well, you didn't book your appointment, so now maybe you will.
Yeah. Hmm.
But anyway, it was such an incredible time. When they left, I was like almost in tears. I just feel like it's wrong. It's wrong that people I love so much I don't get to see every day. So
I
that
know.
was
It
the
was
sad
sad.
part.
It was sad. It was hard to leave. We need to plan a trip to come out. We were talking about how we all need to do like a girls' trip. That would be so
Yes.
fun.
Oh, so fun. Well, already I'm like, there's this Taylor Swift house here in
Oh,
Arizona
yeah.
that just opened up in the Airbnb. And so I think I'm going to have Harper's birthday there, and Cayenne's a Swiftie. So I'm like, Cayenne, you need to come.
Yes. Yeah. I will definitely come to that. That sounds so fun. You've sent me that house. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
Hmm.
But anyway, just to like kind of wrap this up and get back into what the course offering is. So there are technically, actually, there are three courses. Two of
Yeah.
them are virtual. And the first one is for more like iPhone users, like entry level artists that are like, okay, a professional mirrorless camera. No thanks. I like right now, I'm just trying to own in on my craft. So like getting into that professional camera world's not for me right now. It's okay. We've got you with the iPhone and all that. Have like Kara was blowing
Yeah.
my mind because I don't use an iPhone for photos. She was
Mm-mm. Yeah.
blowing my mind.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So this is, I mean, it's a great way to start because even if you're not ready to be using a professional mirrorless camera, you still need to have some way to start showcasing your work. So that way you can start getting the clients you want and then eventually build to the place where you are ready to invest into a professional camera. So this entry level iPhone course is going to be perfect for you to get a good start. So that way with the iPhone camera, and it doesn't just apply to iPhones. We used an iPhone, but even if you have like an Android or something like that, you can still use the same techniques and process that we used, and it will help you get a good start for your photos.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the second virtual course is for more like advanced artists that are using a mirrorless or want to use a mirrorless professional camera. We use Fujifilm. Kara is an ambassador for Fujifilm, ambassador for Profoto. She knows those products inside and out. It's what she recommended for us to use, and that's all we've been using. It's very simplistic, which is why we love it as artists, because our brains just don't necessarily work in that scientific way that a
Yeah.
photographer's does.
Yeah.
But so that course is available as well. And then we have a third course that we're going to launch, which is an in-person hands-on intensive, which of course is the best of the best of the best. I mean, once you get a hands-on experience, you're like, you just level up so incredibly much.
Yeah. Yeah. And being able to be in person and ask questions. Um, I mean, we have to sit down and kind of plan out because, of course, since it's with Muse and Kara, it's going to be bougie and luxurious course. We're going to treat you guys right. But it's going to be so amazing to be able to have questions answered in person and just get that hands-on experience and like put your hands in hair and we can show you like how to fluff the hair and make it pretty for your pictures. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, so there are like 5 pillars inside of the course, and in all, it's consistent in all courses where we have we're going to be going over styling, which is insanely important for photos because I cannot tell you how many times I'm scrolling and I'm like, whoa, girl, like you need to fluff those curls, or you need to like,
Yeah.
it looks like one person curled one side and the other person curled the other side. Like, so we're
Yeah.
really going to give you the tools to have this consistent, beautiful, elevated, elegant look coming across your feed. So we've got styling, we have posing, we have camera settings, and we
Yeah.
have um,
Lighting.
lighting and
Mm-hmm.
editing.
Yeah, yeah, and we go over. Kara does some iPhone editing and camera editing as well, so that way you have a couple of options. And in the future, we might also be releasing some Muse presets that you can use on your photos, but those are still in the works. But those are also a great option for editing photos too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So this is like honestly so comprehensive and so robust that and there's our industry has never ever seen something like this before. Like Muse is pioneering this. We're so excited and we're so honored to be working with somebody as renowned as Kara. Like if you look at Kara's resume, it's insane. Like when I first learned who she was and I Googled her, I was like, whoa, like this girl is legit. She has worked with some crazy
Yeah,
names, insane brands. And since then, she's like tripled, quadrupled what she's done when I first met her. She's like one of her big projects right now is she works with Bobby Burke. If you don't know who that is, he's Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. He does a lot of interior designs, and she has signed a huge contract with him. And in fact,
yeah.
her work was just showcased on the Jennifer Hudson show. So
Yeah, it was really cool. She does the most beautiful, stunning work. So, this partnership is unlike anything you guys will have ever seen, and we're just so excited to be bringing it to you.
yes, absolutely. So, timeline wise, I would say we don't have a date, but probably a couple months, I would say it's going to take to get into production and get pushed out into the world. But we will definitely keep you posted with sneak peeks as we start to get them back from the videographer. And as we get closer to knowing when it's going to release, of course, we will be screaming it from the rooftops.
Yes, of course. And so, to stay in the loop to know about when we're going to be launching and getting sneak peeks, make sure you follow our Instagram, Muse Extension Lounge, and also make sure you follow Kara_Kara Mercer.
Yes, absolutely. With that being said, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. And of course, make sure you follow Muse on Instagram, follow juliaward.muse,
And Cayenne.muse. And
and
if
we,
you would love to be a client and get this beautiful hair from one of us in Arizona or Washington, then go to our website, museextensionlounge.com, and you will find our book now forms right on that page.
yes, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.